This YCN segment is brought to you by Harris Family Furniture in Plymouth, Laconia, and Chichester.
Welcome in, YCN Sports Talk, Jeremy Stout, and joining me this week, Rob Taylor, Executive Director of the Lebanon Area Chamber of Commerce. Rob, thanks for joining me.
Always great to be with you.
And it's an exciting time. We've got baseball ending, the final month of the regular season, football just starting up, first week of the season, and the Patriots with a big win, 27-20 over the Texans. Just your initial thoughts before we dive into it. Good win, good way to open the season.
A good win, sort of classic Patriots in my mind. It wasn't pretty.
Right.
There was nothing like overly dominant. The Pats put on a pretty good show, but I mean, it was never a huge blowout or anything super impressive. They did what they need to, which is sort of, like I said, quintessential Patriots.
Right.
So my feeling is, encouragement. We were obviously missing one of our big guys in Edelman. So we'll take the win and move on to week 2.
Yeah, exactly. That opening week, they get the win. They have a much easier game, I like to think, than last year when they played the Texans. That field goal win to Deshaun Watson didn't really quite look the same as he was last year before the injury. That was his first game back. But on the Patriots side, Brady and Gronk, really the leaders of this team. As we knew all along, Brady almost 300 yards passing, Gronk catching the first touchdown pass. Those are the two guys, and Gronk, we really got to make sure that he stays healthy because he's the big piece.
Yeah, I worry about the game plan with us being short on really high quality wide receivers. The reliance on Gronk is really putting him out there and really putting him, I think, in a position where he can get injured. You saw it just the other day. I mean, he was diving after balls that he had no business catching, but he did manage to pull down a few of those. There was that one controversial completion that probably, I guess, I don't know if you looked at it again, maybe wasn't a completion. But so that's my concern with the Patriots right now is that they really need a stud wide receiver to sort of complement. Maybe with Edelman back, that'll be the guy that'll take some of the pressure off Gronk. Patriots have just gone out and picked up a few free agents, wide receivers, a couple first round, I think, picks from previous drafts. So we'll see. We'll see where that goes. I worry every time you see Gronk in the middle there.
Well, yeah, and with the heavy workload that Gronk gets and the fact that he really just lays his body on the line, whether he's catching a pass, attempting a pass, a reception, or just running through blockers, defenders, whoever, he does put his body on the line. And you talk about wide receivers. Philip Dorsett, a good game, 7 catches, 66 yards. What kind of production can they count on from him each week? I mean, obviously we saw Hogan a little quiet. I imagine he'll get his work. We'll talk about him later. But this Dorsett, I mean, now that he's built that rapport with Brady, can he be that go-to guy?
I think he is. I don't think he's going to be an elite stud receiver per se, but I guess I'd put him as a quality second receiver in your fantasy league.
Right, yeah.
What do they call wide receiver 2?
Yes.
So I think he's going to be one of those guys. He obviously had a great day, and Hogan was sort of nowhere to be found.
Yeah, nowhere to be found, yeah.
They targeted him a bunch of times, but he was always in a real great tight coverage, and so credit to the Texans defense. Of course, coming up next week, we're going to be against a great D there as well. So.
Yeah, and we'll break down that game later on in the final segment, that Jaguars-Patriots game. Patriots going on the road, 4:30 game against Jacksonville, the rematch of the AFC Championship game. But overall, grading out this week's game. You get the win, 7 points. It was never really in doubt, but you did have some areas you could probably improve on. How do you give them a grade for this first week?
I'll give them a good solid B. Week 1, Belichick, he's just so good at getting the best out of everybody, and that seems to be, season in and season out what we get. The guys that show up for work on Sunday always seem to be put in the best position to win games. And as I said earlier, it's never really pretty. I mean, once in a while they put on a clinic, but while it's not pretty, we always seem to manage to eke out those wins and make something out of nothing.
Well, and that's the big thing. I was on with Brett Franklin earlier this week, and we were talking about the game, and it's like these games in the NFL are hard to win. We kind of take it for granted that the Patriots, every year, they win 11, 12, 13 games, get to the AFC Championship, but these games are tough to win. So when you do see, going into a new season, you don't have the tape on the other team, you don't know what to expect from what you're going to get from your guys, any win is a big win, even if it's not as exciting as you want it to be.
Absolutely. I have a 17-year-old son who loves football and he loves to play Madden. And I keep reminding him, it wasn't always this way.
Right,
before you were born, Patriots sucked. So, so he's just known it since the Patriots have been awesome in the age of Brady. And, it's not always going to be that way.
Right.
And we certainly, I think us older guys are obviously a little more keen to that. And we sort of accept it. But, boy, it just seems like as long as it's Brady and Belichick and Gronk, that we've just got a chance to win it every year.
I know.
It's a pleasure.
It's exciting. It's a good recipe. And like I said, we'll talk about the game coming up in our final segment. We'll take a break now, and we'll get to some baseball. Obviously, you can't forget about the Red Sox. They're still in the hunt for the #1 seed, and they'll have a big playoff matchup coming up, and we'll talk about that. When we come back, you're watching YCN Sports Talk.